those of you that didn't write it down because we were finished, write it down. There is your joint variation equation. Y is equal to KXZ. It's the direct variation with just another variable. Now again, they're going to give you the information. You don't have to really do anything. You just have to plug and chug. Sometimes they will give you K and you just plug it in and change the variables. Sometimes you will be given Y, X, and Z, and then you solve for K, put K back in, and then they'll give you more information. And we did a couple of those problems the other day with direct and inverse. Okay, so Y is equal to K times X is all you need to write down. KXZ, Y is equal to KXZ. And then we'll move on to an example. Okay, there is the example. The area of a triangle varies jointly as its base and height. So the first thing you're going to do is what? Change your variables. Now, as I said, it says Y is equal to KXZ. So you're going to take your handy stylus and write Y is equal to KXZ. But that's not what your formula is going to look like, because now it's going to read what? A is equal to K times what?
B.
B times what?
H.
H. So here is your new formula. This is the formula or the equation that you're going to use for this problem, and that takes this out. We've just done that sentence. And mark out your sentences as you're using them, so that way you see the parts, what's left. If the area of a triangle is 48 degrees, so there's your second part. Here, right here is your second part. So you need to take your highlighter and you need to highlight that part and call it part 2. And plug and chug. So do that. Take that part of the problem and plug and chug. What do you mean plug and chug, Hubert? Plug it into the formula, and whatever variable's left is the one that you need to what? Solve for. Dang, I didn't have gummy worms again in the daggum vending machine, so I had to go to Walgreens and buy some. I ain't got no leadership around here. Can't even get gummy worms. So, A is 48 is equal to K times 12 times 8. Now, I'm not going to write any numbers yet because I'm going to try to condense as much as I can. Show you a trick I learned in the war. 12 times 8. 12 times 8. Now, if I leave it like this, what can I do on the left-hand side to make life easy on myself? What can I do with that fraction? You can cancel, Hubert. Yeah, that's right, class. How many times will 12 go into 48? 4 times, Hubert. How many times will 4 go into 8?
2 times.
Now, it looks like K is equal to 0.5. Somebody check my math.
I got 2.
2? Somebody check it ain't 2, because 48 divided by, what is that, 96? 48 divided by 96 is not.
It's 0.5.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So Mr. Robinson is a disappointment. Your disappointment, Mr. Robinson.
I'll be there today.
What did he say?
He said
What'd
he
you
will
say?
be that today.
I'll be there today.
Okay. So, what are you going to do with K after you find it?
You're going to plug it in.
Plug it back in. So now my formula is going to be A is equal to 0.5 times B times H. And now we're ready for part 3. And what's part 3? The only sentence left. Part 3 says find the area of a triangle whose base is 15 and whose height is 20. So we'll call this part 1. We'll call this part 2. We'll call this part 3. So area is equal to 0.5. I'm just going to do 1/2 because I don't have a calculator and I don't want to depend on it. So 1/2 times 15 over 1 times 20 over 1. And what happens to the 2 and the 20? 10, and most of us should be able to multiply 10 times 15 without a calculator. That should be 150.
150.
And I'm not going to ask you to check it on a calculator because you shouldn't have to. Everybody can multiply 10 times 15. That's a good test question also. I can tell you right now, I will give you 2 to 3 of these each. 2 direct, 2 inverse, and 2 joints. Maybe even more. Because I want you to fail. 150, look at there. It's a miracle. Okay, read this one. The load that a horizontal beam, y'all know what the load on a horizontal beam is called? It's called tensile strength. Bet y'all didn't know that.
Nope.
That's the horizontal beam can safely support varies jointly as the width and the square of the depth and inversely as the length. All right, so let's just highlight that as part 1.
You have a work email.
Highlight that as part 1. So I want everybody to do that right now. It says jointly as the width and as the square of the depth and inversely as the what?
Length.
So that's y is equal to kxz over w because we've got inverse and joint. Okay, so you need to take your highlighter. I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to color it. I'm going to color my highlighter red. I don't like to do that, but it's very important. So varies jointly as the width and the square of the depth. We've got to square that depth, but we ain't changed it. And inversely. So this one has 2 of your variations in it.
Okay, but how did you get the y equals kx2 over w?
Z.
KXZ. KXZ is jointly. Inversely is over W.
Joint variation.
Look at the 3. Look at your 3 formulas. You got 3 formulas. Y is equal to KX. Y is equal to K over X. And Y is equal to K, KXZ. All right? Now, I can't put X and X over each other, because what would happen if I had X over X? It would cancel, Hubert. So I can't do that. So I got to use another variable. When I've used one variable up, I've got to use another variable under it. Okay? So that's why I pulled in W. You can put a square there. You can put a star, because I'm fixing to change all the variables right now. I just had to get the formula down. What are we missing? We're missing a square. Where does that square belong? Well, it says jointly as the width and the square of the depth. So the Z is going to be squared. Okay, so here we go. What comes first? L is equal to K. What's next? W or W, depending on where you're from. So I'm going to make that X a W. And then the Z is what? D. So that's going to be D squared over, and what's the last one? L, little l. So there is your formula. Now you need to make a note of this one, because this is a standardized test question. Why do they use this test question on standardized test? Because it's nested. Why is it nested? It has 2 in what? 1. You have 2 types of formulas in one here. So instead of giving you 2 questions on a standardized test, they just give you this type question where you merge the 2 together. And that's why you see these on a lot of standardized tests. All right, now do the second part. Oh, okay, they don't give us any numbers. Okay, so this is just to find the formula. So we're going to do an example here in just a minute. There's the formula right there. Now, a lot of people say, well, how did you know to use W? You can use anything you want to. You can use a star if you want to, because you're going to change it. Okay, so you just need a placeholder there, and in that case, I just used W. I didn't know it was going to be in the problem. Next time, I'll look at the problem a little bit better. Okay? My fault. It's always my fault. There it is. All right, now you do this one. The owner of Henrietta Hot. What? Henrietta Hots? That really don't sound right, does it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I guess I'm just being weird. I just can't, I'm sorry, I can't serve on the Supreme Court. Now, I said that. Oh, have you heard the latest?
No.
Kavanaugh threw ice in a hotel when he was in college.
Oh, yeah.
That's awful. I think these people have lost their damn mind. I'm sorry. What college kid or high school kid, has anybody ever done anything stupid in high school?
Everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, okay? And I think they've lost their dang mind. You know, if you want to put people on the Supreme Court, win the election. That's all you got to do. All right. The owners of Henrietta Hots find their weekly sales of hot dogs, S, varies directly with their advertising budget, A, and inversely with their hot dog price, B, P. Okay? So now they're using direct and inverse. Not using joint, using direct. So write the direct one down and write the inverse down and see what you come up with. Now you're going to have to use a different letter in the bottom, but well, you can say, okay, S is equal to K times A over what? Over P. Okay? How many of you grew up with somebody that always changed the rules to the game? Anybody ever grew up with somebody like that?
Yo.
I did. My cousin. All right? My cousin always. We would go to her house, and every time we went to her house, she would change the game, the rules of the game, whenever she was losing. To me, that's what this is like. We're just going to keep changing everything, delay, because we're not getting our way. It's the Russians.
Just put your new rule in there.
Yeah, just put a new rule in here. If you throw ice in high school, you can't be a Supreme Court justice. The owner of Henrietta Heights. Henrietta Heights. S. I can't believe y'all not saying anything about Henrietta Heights. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Just tits on a bull. S-A-K times A over dang old P. All right, so that takes out all of this. So that's part one. All right, you do part two. Let's find out more about Henrietta Heights. I think it would be better if they put a possessive, what do you call it, apostrophe S, and take the Heights. Henrietta's hot. No, that wouldn't work either.
No.
Why don't they just call it Henrietta's hot dogs? Oh my God, I said Henrietta's hot. Oh my God, I can't serve on the Supreme Court now. When their advertising budget is $600 and the price of a hot dog is $1.50, they sell 5,600 hot dogs a week. So what was S? S is 5,600. Varies directly. Advertising budget is 600. So A is 600. And the price of a hot dog is $1.50. All right, let's see what happens. So part two, we're going to plug and chug. So part two, they're going to ask for K, because they're going to ask for more. There's more to this problem somewhere. Or unless they're just wanting you to just write the, anyway. So S is 5,600. K, we don't know, times what, 600 over $1.50? Somebody check me. 600 over 1.50. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I'm going to multiply by $1.50. Now, you can do that in your head. What's 1 times 5,600?
5,600.
And what's half of 5,600? 2,800, Hubert. So add 2,800 and 5,600, and you get what? 8,400?
Yep.
Yeah. Y'all settle down. Yeah. Okay.
Don't let him bully you.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm bullying. Divided by 600, I'm going to show you a trick I learned in the war. K is equal to 8,400. Y'all ready for this trick? So you don't have to use a calculator, so you can strengthen your mind and so you can spell mom backwards if somebody asks you. And 84 divided by 6, dang old what, 14? So K is equal to 14. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say part 3. Because I have a feeling on the next page I may ask for part 3. S is equal to 14A over what? P. Now I don't know if they're going to ask that on the next page, but it seems like to me when they're it's not asking a question. Does anybody see a question there? Don't ask for a question. So let's see what the next page says. There we go. Write a variation expressing S in terms of P. Include the value of K. Put constant, mark or highlight constant and put K and put quotation marks around K, because when they say the constant, some people usually get kind of confused. Include the value of K. Find K and plug it in. Find the expected sales if the advertising budget is $800 and the hot dog price is $1.75. So take your handy dandy equation, and we said it was what? 14? What was our number for K? So
14.
Okay, so S is equal to 14 times A over P. And they said that A is 800, so that's 14 times 800 divided by $1.75, and that's going to be 14 times 8, dang old 3, dang old 11200. Somebody check me on that. 11200. Is that right?
Will you?
400 times 1400, 14 times 800. Somebody check it. Okay, I'll just do it in my head again, because.
Hold on, we gotta move the screen. We can't see the bottom right corner, so.
Huh.
That's right.
Sounds like somebody didn't set up the
Okay, we got it.
configuration
Got it.
there. Sounds like
We got
Miss
it.
Johnson didn't set it up right at the beginning of the class.
Dang right I didn't.
Now, somebody take 11,200 and divide by $1.75. What do you get? Now, I ain't going to try that. Unless you're Rain Man, you're not going to be able to do that. So use your calculator. How much?
6,400.
6,400 dang old hot dogs.
There you go.
Or whatever they're
That's a
asking.
lot.
I don't know. $6,400. Whatever. I don't know what they're asking. I think they're asking how many find the expected sales. Be 6,400. No, 64. What did they say S was? Let's go back.
Find the expected sales.
Okay, expected sales. So that doesn't mean profit. It just means how much you sold. Now you could find how many hot dogs you sold by taking $1.75 and dividing it into what? 6,400 probably.
I don't think we need to.
You could do that. But it's no big deal.
Try that again.
14.
That is it.
Yeah.
Weekly sales of hot dogs. That would be 6,400. So I thought that was weekly sales. So that'd be 6,400 a week. Well, I got in a hurry, sorry. There we go. Henrietta Hots can expect to sell $6,400 dogs a week if the advertising budget is $800 and the hot dog price is $1.75. I swear they're being very brave putting that in the book. I'm surprised somebody hadn't complained and been offended by Henrietta Hots. Nothing. Just quiet. All right, so who's got questions on that? Let's look at the test. Pull up the test.
I understand.
What? Why don't y'all talk? Y'all whisper. Why don't you talk so I can hear you?
Because I was taught that's disrespectful.
No, whispering is disrespectful, yes.
Well, if you don't hear me, then it's not disrespectful. See,
And you're
I got
getting
it.
married, right? I need to talk to your future mate or husband or whatever you call it.
Future mate. Future mate.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I don't know. Okay?
It is a male, thank you.
Could be a turtle for all I know. These people these days, I don't know. I need to talk to him.
That's so funny.
I need
Mate.
to tell him
I'll start calling him, hey, mate.
he needs to really think about it. Okay?
Well, we've been together 6 years, so he's had a lot of time to think about it.
That's a long time to date.
It's a long time to date.
You did good. It's called, hey, Miss Johnson, that's called being very smart.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Not like some of these crazy people. I'm sorry if I step on your toes. I'm sorry. Wear steel-toed boots. But these people go. I have people that come in my classroom and they say, "My mama wants me to hurry up and get married." I'm like, "What?
Why?
Sometimes marriage can be overrated. This is my personal opinion.
I'm gonna tell you something. I wouldn't change
Marriage is
anything
not
right
for
now. I'm
everybody.
very happy. I'm very happy. Don't want to change a thing.
Can't rush a marriage.
Huh?
I say you can't rush.
Dang old 15 years live together and then get married. 6 years. Yeah. Don't get married right out of high school to somebody you just met 2 weeks ago. That's really retardicus. I can't say the other word, but I can say retardicus because it's not a word. So I can say retardicus. Because you can't say I said the other word, which I don't know what's wrong with the other word because it just means out of time. That's what the word means. I don't understand what the big deal is, but you can have the timing of a car be that word, but that's okay. But
Society is soft.
what?
Society is soft.
Yeah, United States of clover leaves, buttercups, and daisies.
I
sorry.
take offense to it because I have family that are mentally retarded, so I feel like that's making fun of them.
Yeah, but what I'm
You know-
saying
you know what I
is
mean?
that's what our culture has done. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word actually doesn't have anything to do with the person's. It doesn't. They've taken that word and they've misused
I
that
understand what
word.
you're saying, though.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
And we've put a what do you call it? What do you call it? Stereotype on that word. Yeah, I got a cousin, same way. But I don't.
When I was growing up, we weren't allowed to say that word. It was like a curse word in my house. So, but that's just the way
See, it's not.
I don't know.
It's like calling a Xerox machine a Xerox machine. It's
Yeah.
not a Xerox machine. It's a photocopy machine. It's the wrong word. It shouldn't be even used for that. But
Yeah. It's slowly being transformed out though, because in my early childhood classes, that's not what you're supposed to say anymore. So,
I know.
yeah.
What you supposed to say?
If a engine is out of time, you got to use the word out of time. You can't use that word. You got to
Yeah.
use out of time. But yeah, that's what it means. It means out of time. If you look it up. Yeah, our culture has done that several different words. I can't stand it, but
Yeah.
can't do anything about it. All right, let me go back to the test. Let me go to show test. And this is not, I'm just going to go ahead and assign it, but we'll worry about questions next week. I'm just going to assign it, give you all a couple extra days in case you want to go in and do it or go in and try it. Settings for class. I'm not even going to end the homework right now. I'm just going to go ahead and set this so we can look at it. Today is what day? Third?
Third.
Okay, and we're going to stop it on the October 3rd. I'm going to give it that 15th. Okay? So that's more than a week because we're going to give you 2 or 3 days to get questions in if you want to do that. Set that to 3.
So when do you want all the homework to be done?
Well, we're going to get to that in just a minute. If you'll hold on a minute. Dang,
I'm
can I be in
sorry.
charge for a while? I just hold on. I can't get through with the test. She's already hollering about the homework. I tell
Let him
you.
eat his gummy worms.
What?
Just let you eat your gummy worms.
No, I can't eat them right now. I'm a kid. You won't let me take charge of my class. 10:18. All right, that's 10:15. That's when the Unit 2 Test A. So let's go ahead and look at it. Right now, it looks like the homework is going to be due probably next Wednesday or something right now. I'm not going to put a date on the homework right now, but it looks like Wednesday. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so let's look at it and see what kind of questions are on it. Okay, I'm not gonna go over the bonus questions. I'm just gonna hit the answer and move on. 0, zilch, nada. All right, there's a question. Go ahead and write it down. 9t minus 11.
Hold on, it's still loading. There it is. Okay.
9t minus 11 is equal to 6t minus 5. And solve that right quick and give me the answer. Move 6t over. Somebody give me an answer. 3t is equal to 6 to t2. I got 2, but I was doing it in my head. What'd y'all get?
2.
You got 2? All right, next question. All right, try that one. 6 parentheses, x plus 4, close parentheses, is equal to 2 parentheses, 3x plus 4, close parentheses, plus 16.
You said plus 16?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. And the plus
didn't know if it was
16 is
divided
outside
by
the parentheses. What?
Plus.
It's hard to tell if it's a plus sign or a divide sign. So.
Yeah, it's plus.
Okay.
All 3 of those are plus signs. And let me reiterate, the plus 16 is outside the parentheses. So don't distribute the 2 with that 16, because that's what some students do. That's 6x plus 24. Somebody tell me what you get when you get it. Just blurt it out.
Apparently I did something wrong.
I heard, what?
I said I did something wrong.
Such a disappointment.
I know. So sorry.
Waiting for someone else.
Be that.
I'm sorry, what?
It's gotta be that all real number.
Why? What'd you get? Tell me what you got. You got 24.
Then I didn't do it wrong.
I'm sorry, what?
Then I did it right to begin with. I forgot about that.
Forgot about what?
You should get 6x plus 24 is equal to 6x plus 24.
That's what I got.
Yeah, wouldn't it be 0?
No. Well, yeah, eventually it would cross out and be 0 is equal to 0. What kind of statement is either one of those?
No.
No solution.
Starts with a
All
T.
solutions.
Oh, starts with a T.
R.
What did you say?
U. E.
True.
Good job. Miss Johnson is on top of things. True. A true statement means your answer is all what? It's called an identity. What happens if it comes out to be a contradiction? No solution. What is a contradiction? Think about the word. What is a contradiction?
They don't equal each other.
They don't equal each other. Something's not right. If I did that problem and I got 6x is equal to 12x, or if I got 34 is equal to 17, and I did everything correctly, the answer would be no solution. 80% of the time, you're going to get this. Okay? 80% of the time, you're going to get x is equal to a number. Every once in a while, like on a test, or every once in a while on a homework problem, you might get something that comes out to be true. The answer is all real numbers. Or it comes out to be, doesn't make any sense. And that's no solution. So this one comes out to be 6x plus 24 is equal to 6x plus 24. And that's a true statement. So your answer is all real numbers.
So I was like, what am I doing wrong?
I
was
did too.
so
I done it
confused.
twice and I still got the same thing.
Well, I told y'all to blurt out the answer when you got it. That's what you should have done. But you don't listen to me, so that's all right.
Well, I didn't think I had the answer.
I
Confidence.
thought I did something wrong.
Low confidence. If you drove a truck, you'd put smokestacks on your truck. All right.
No.
If you miss a question on a test, okay, that's a bonus question. You scream and throw a temper tantrum. I would say something, but I'm not. When is the week of finals? That is December 4th through the 10th. That's A. All right, do that one. 6 times 2x minus 4, in parentheses, is less than 2, parentheses, 6x minus 13, close parentheses. Somebody tell me which answers are not correct. Just looking at the problem, not even doing any math. Which ones are not correct?
A.
Why are those two excluded? Because in our notes, you told us to look at that. Look at that inequality. That inequality right there tells us that we have to have what kind of circle?
A closed circle.
An open circle.
Oh,
Y'all just hurt
Just
my
kidding.
feelings. Y'all hurt my feelings.
sorry. I was just kidding.
This right here tells us that we're going to have what kind of circle on the graph? A open circle. So anything with a closed circle is not the answer. That's a closed circle, and that's a closed circle.
You hate when you do
No,
that.
they do not. They're not even a possibility. So that's 12x minus 24, and 12x minus what? Is that a true statement or a false statement? It's not going to be. It's going to be either true or false because it's not a number. So it's not going to be this one, and it's not going to be this one. It's either going to be all real numbers, which is a solid blue line, or it's going to be no solution, which is D. So which one is it?
No solution.
No solution.
No solution. I think it's no solution. Somebody tell me what the answer came out to be. 4 is equal to 12 or something like that?
I don't know, but it's not a solution.
Okay, just let
Well, I
me do
mean, you
Just
can
re-
tell that it's not a solution after you do that part.
it. Do X minus 4. Just hold on. Y'all not working with me, so I'll just go ahead and do it. 6x minus 13. Y'all trying to be difficult. 12x minus 24 is less than 12x minus what? 26? 12x cancels and you get negative 24 is less than or equal to negative 26. True or false? Is negative 24 less than negative 26? Think about your bank account.
Yes.
Which one's greater?
26.
Nope.
Oh, wait, 24.
24. Negative 24. What's better to have in the bank? Negative $2,400 or negative $2,600? Negative $2,400. Negative 24 is higher. It's greater than negative 26. So this statement is what? False. So you draw a big cross through there because it is not true. If it is not true, then you have a delta for an answer. No solution. And if I was to give you a standardized test, one of these last two questions, the no solution and the all real numbers, that's the ones they'd like to put on the standardized test. I'm just telling you. Because those are the ones you hardly ever see. Next question. All right, y'all look at this one. Ernie, is that Ernie or Emmy?
That's Emmy. Emmy.
Emmy. Emmy Rolfe.
No, I already want to
Emmy,
hear about it.
Emmy Rolfe.
Must be English.
Where do they get these names? Deposit $3,000 at 10% for 1 year. How much interest will she earn? What is the account balance at the end of the year? Well, this is very vague. There's all kinds of interest. There's general interest, simple interest, and then there's compound interest. They don't tell you which one to use. Where did this question come from? All right, there's 2 or 3 different interests. Okay. We can't use compound interest because we haven't taught you how to use the exponent. Well, we have taught you how to use the exponent, so I don't know which one is asking. We'll just do all 3, and then we'll see which one, and then tell y'all what to do when you see this question, because it doesn't. How much interest will she earn? I guess it's simple interest. That's what I'm assuming. So 3,000 times what? 0.10. You don't need a calculator. What is it?
300.
Okay, that's simple interest. So at the end of the year,
It is simple interest because I did this last night.
it does want simple interest. So 300 is all they're wanting,
Yeah.
and that'd be $3,300. 300 and 3,300. That's kind of vague. They need to put simple on there. There's compound, there's continuous, there's general, all kinds of different interest. So make a note, use simple interest. Just take 10% or whatever of that number, add it back to it, you get 3,300. I'll check that one. Yep. You're correct, thank you.
You think I was lying to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I think of all females. I'm sorry. All right. Number 10. I have to say I was kidding because somebody will say I'm offended.
I'm offended.
Oh, I'm offended. Judgment Day. I'm making fun of the Bible. No, it's called a movie, lady. Huh? The answer is, yeah, C, pretty much. How about December 3rd? Somebody will come up to me at the end of the semester, about 2 weeks from, when is finals? I have no idea. When's the last day of class? I have no idea.
December 3rd.
No, they won't read the questions. I don't know what they do for these tests. Overall grade?
I would always choose Cookie.
Okay. All right. You know, Cookie Monster is a misogynist. All right. Solve the equation.
I never say that.
So you can clear the fraction if you want to by multiplying through by 7. That's really not going to change anything. I mean, you still get the same, you get 2x plus 4 is equal to negative 6. And minus 4 is negative 10. I get negative 5. What do y'all get? Y'all just blurt it out when you get it. Huh?
It's negative.
All right, negative 5 should be what you got. And I cleared the fractions in my head and just subtracted the 4. That would give you a negative 10. And 2 goes into negative 10, negative 5 times. All right, solve that one for H. First thing you do, what's the first thing you do on this problem? Get rid of the what?
The second floor. First one of the
Good job.
Thank you.
You actually paid attention. God, I feel faint. Multiply by 2 on both sides, because Mr. Robinson, you don't want to live on the 15th floor, do you?
No.
Even though he tried to mess me up that day. Oh yeah, I like this. They've got a pretty view. Don't worry with me at all. Just
Maybe don't.
listen. That second kid, I got 2 kids. Lauren, she's in college now, but the second one, when he come along, we were on the first floor everywhere we went. I got tired of carrying all that crap. And we had a turtle shell on top of the van. And the back of the van would be full. I mean, I had to carry all that stuff everywhere. Dang old Pat Mule. So 2F is equal to, oops, I made a cardinal rule. You do not make a capital F out of a lowercase in science. Always remember that. So 2F is equal to H times R. Now what are we solving for?
H.
So that means I'm going to divide by what? R. So H is equal to 2F over R. I told you we'd have 1 or 2 formulas on here. One plug and chug, and I think that and one was to solve. So I'm going to type in H is equal to, I'm going to hit my little fraction bar right here, 2F over little r. Next, determine whether, okay, determine means plug and chug. So what am I going to do with that 4? Plug it in. What's 7 times 4?
28.
28. What's 28 plus 5?
31.
Uh-huh.
33.
33. Is 33 equal to 30?
Oh.
So you say no. Incomplete means it's going to decrease. I didn't know if I didn't do a test, it would. Shut up. Plug and chug. This is a slope formula. For those of you that need to know, you're going to see this in algebra. It's a slope formula. M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2 is what? Y sub 2 is negative 24, Hubert. Thank you, class. What's x sub, what's y sub 1? 12. What's x sub 2? And what's x sub 1? Thank you, class.
You're welcome.
Y'all say I suck. Negative 24 minus 12 is negative 36. Negative 12 minus 9 is negative what? 21? Somebody help me out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's going to be positive 3 will go into 12 over 7. Somebody check my reducing, make sure I did the math right.
Yeah, I see what you're doing now. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Sure is nice to have people that respond. 12 over 7.
Yep, you got it right. I thought it was
Oh,
incorrect.
I meant to hit this. I'm sorry. All right, graph the solution set. In other words, somebody tell me which one is not the answer. Two of them are not the answer.
A and D.
A and D. Good. So even if you don't have a clue what's going on, you can at least take off 2 of the questions by looking at what?
The circle.
Not the circle, but, well, the circle, but look at that, what? The inequality to tell you which circle to use. Yes, you're right. So 18 minus 9 is what? 9. X is greater than 1. Okay, where do you see X is greater than 1?
B.
B. Best way to communicate. Trace lowest grade. No. I think we've done one like this one, but let's see. 24x minus 6. 24x minus 12. Negative 6 is not equal to negative 12. Well, go ahead and do it because it's not equal. It's an inequality, so we need to do it. Which one is it not? It's not this one.
Not A.
And it's not this one.
Oh, it might be. Okay.
Because it's an open circle. If it's
Yeah,
anything, it's an open circle. So let's check it to see if it's valid. 24x minus 6 is less than 24x minus what? So the 24's cancel. Negative 6 is less than negative 12. True or false? False. So therefore, which one is it? Should be B. Actually, negative 6 is greater than negative 12.
So then it's B.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because this is wrong. Negative 6 is not less than negative 12. Negative 6 is greater than negative 12. This is the question I got. This is the text I got the other day. Did I tell y'all about that?
Yes.
If you take several forms of a unit test or a test in Hubert's class, how is it counted? He takes the highest grade and drops the lowest. Do you average your grades or do you take the highest from the lowest? That's what he said. Her, he, whatever it was. Only one that counts, that adds up to what?
100.
100. Good. The only one with a real phone number. Most missed question. That and the percentage question. That's the 2 most missed questions. Okay, how do you get rid of dividing by 3?
Multiply by 3.
And this is a open circle, so that means,
X is greater than 6.
well, that one's not it. And open circle, this is not it. And this is not it. Open circle is either this one or this one. X is less than 6. B is in Bravo. Write the variation and find the quantity indicated. Go ahead. We'll let y'all work on that one. F varies jointly as Q sub 1 and Q sub 2, and inversely as the square of D. F is equal to blah, Q1, Q2, and D3. Okay, that's part 2. Part 1 ends after D, square of D. That's part 1. Part 2 ends after D is equal to 3. And then part 3, plug and chug. So, do it. So F is equal to 24. Okay, Q sub 1 is 6. Q sub 2 is 9. And D is 3. So that's going to be, I'm going to show you a trick I learned in the war. What cancels over here? And what's K? 24 divided by 6 is what? 4, Hubert. Thank you, class. Part 3. F is equal to 4 times Q sub 1 times Q sub 2 divided by D to the 3rd power. So F is equal to 4 times, okay, F when Q is 12, 12 times 12 over 4 squared. So 4 times 12 times 12 over 4 squared. Well, one of these 4s will cancel here, right? I'm just going to do this for you because I believe in the brain more than I do the calculator. And then I'm going to change this into 4 times 3 and 4 times 3. And then what happens to this 4? That 4 cancels there, and this 4 cancels there. So what's 9 times 4?
36.
I don't forgot what I asked you. 9 times 4 is 36, right?
Mm-hmm.
So F is 36. So F over there is 36. Variation, I'm not going to type that in. I'm just going to type in 36. I'm not typing all that in because I want to get to the last questions. Because some of y'all are going to start going into zipper fetishes. Okay. Toward the end of the class or toward the end of the unit. What is x greater than 2? Where is x greater than 2? I'm sorry. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. I'm sorry. Well, you know it's not what? Tell me which one it's not, right off the bat. Not even no math. Not even any math.
It's not B and it's not D.
Because those are equal to. Okay, so where is X greater than 4?
A.
A, good. Oh, I'm giving y'all too many of these. I'm going to have to put some more challenging problems on here. X is less than positive 5. Where is X is less than positive 5? A.
A.
I need to go back and edit y'all's test.
Oh, please don't.
No, we need to go back. All right. Need to make a note on this one. You need to write this one down because it'll get you on the test. And highlight that word. Integer. Integer means whole number. So therefore, you do not have the chance to shade in the fractions and decimals. So if you take away the fractions and the decimals, the only possible answer is going to be B and C. You solve it just like you would any problem. So I'm going to solve it 9x plus 72 minus 42 is less than or equal to 5x plus 2. 9x plus what? 30 less than 5x plus 2. 4x is less than or equal to, what's 2 minus 30? 28, negative 28. X is less than or equal to 7, negative 7. But this represents not all numbers, but what? Whole numbers. The only way you can do whole numbers is with dots. So, which one is X? All whole numbers less than negative 7.
B.
B. That's more than. Make a note of this. Cross that integer out and put what? Whole numbers. I don't want you to miss this by doing it correctly and just not picking the correct graph. But you got to look for that word integer. That shows up. The reason I leave this one on the test is not to trick anybody, but that question shows up before the regular, the shaded one. This one will show up first on a standardized test because they want to see if you understand what an integer is. That's why I leave it on this test. I really don't like to put it on there, but I have to because, especially with clinicals, with students going into nursing program and taking those tests, they got to have, exposure to that. And that's going to be, he awards me extra points, and he drops the lowest 2. That's the second question that says, I dropped the lowest 2 grades on the test. So there's 2 bonus questions that tell you I dropped the lowest 2 grades on each unit test. I still get that going. All right, check answers or submit. Hit submit. And we miss the ones I didn't type in, probably. What's that one? Yeah, I didn't type that formula in. What's the other one? Anybody know what the other one was? We missed the word right there, integer. My bad, I missed it. See, it happens. It happens to me. Got to look for that word, integer. And that's this one over here. Sorry, dots. I didn't see it. So make sure you probably at least got 2 of those integer questions on there. So at the end of the test, you make sure and you go back and check these that have the graphs on it and look for that word integer because it'll get you. It got me. Capiche?
Capiche.
All right, y'all get out of here. Have a good weekend. I'll see y'all Monday right out of the test.